Because although English football is a massive success story, millions of people watch our football across the globe, and it brings in £7 billion. What football is really about is the fans, and what we've seen recently is fans are being ignored. Clubs are going into administration. We've had 60 administrations over the course of the last few decades. That's destroyed clubs like Bury. We've seen issues in Rochdale, in Oldham, in Blackpool, and we want to ensure that we make changes and ensure that fans have a say. So today is a seismic day because we are going to fundamentally change the way football works. The biggest change to the rules since football was first came about. And what we're doing today is we've got an independent regulator who will ensure financial stability, changes to the director to ensure that directors and owners pass a fit and proper test, giving fans more say in the running of their clubs, and of course, really importantly, ensuring that money comes down from the Premier League down to the lower leagues.
We see today as a watershed moment in football. Obviously the country invented the game. What we've now got to use is, with the government intervention, is to make sure there is a distribution of wealth that is far fairer than what we have at the moment. I see today as an absolute key day in that journey.
I sincerely hope this is the beginning of a bit of a new era. I've been involved in fan representation for over a quarter of a century, and I have witnessed government holding the football authorities to account for inadequacies in their governance over many times over that period, and every time they've said to the football authorities, you need to get your act together in terms of governance, and the football authorities have said, yeah, of course we'll sort it out. And then when the pressure goes away, the scrutiny retreats, they go back to normal, revert to type. And at last the government have said, okay, you've had your chance, we will now introduce independent regulation of the game. And I think it's a much healthier form of governance if you haven't got football clubs making up their own rules that they want to abide by and marking their own homework. Having that independently regulated marks a whole new potential new beginning here. Yeah. There's a lot for fans, I think, to take enormous comfort from, not least in the recommendation is that every club will be required to have structures where it engages with and listens to its supporter base in its decision-making process. And that's important. I mean, football clubs are hugely important to communities and they're hugely important to the lives of fans. And a good football club owner will not fear engagement by supporters. What you've got there is one of the loyalist customer bases that any business could ever hope for, who want you to do well and coming forward with their ideas and suggestions about how that could be done. That's got to be something that should be welcomed. Well, the new proposals introduce, under the auspices of the regulator, a club licensing system where a club will have to fulfil certain threshold criteria to get a license to operate as a football club. One of those criteria will be a guarantee not to take part in a breakaway competition that the regulator hasn't approved. If you take part in that, against the ruling of the regulator, you don't get a licence to operate a football club. So no, there will not be English clubs joining in a breakaway European Super League. Well, I think there's an understandable instinct to say, well, football should be able to regulate itself. And it's taken bitter experience of proving that the football authorities have not been able to do that. And it's not because they're bad individuals, it's because the governance structure means that the rule books of the leagues are determined by the clubs. And the clubs will not want, the owners of clubs have not proved willing to set rules that exact a high standard of governance because it's not in their immediate short-term financial interest to do so. And football's too important to be governed on that basis. It's important to communities, it's important in the lives of individuals, and good governance has got to underpin that. And that's where I'm hoping that we're going to have a whole new era of better governance in football.